That's right, people. We are coming at you with two different vibes: the hardness of Billy Butcher and the other side of Huey. That's right. We're here back this week talking about The Boys on the
The
Nerd
boys.
Comic Flick Show. It's your boy DP Brown. Here with me, I got the infamous, the Flash, our ad man. He's a madman. He's an ad man. Bill City hitching up. Is he? Look at it. There you
Hello,
go.
hello.
And our friendly neighborhood original gangster down there, with the pirates hat on. He just came to join us. The Michael Ducci. What's going
Happy
on with
O'Neill Cruise Day.
Yeah, happy O'Neill Cruise.
Oh yeah. That's what's going on. Happy Juneteenth. Out there. So make sure that you guys, we're belated and everything. I know it's June 20th, but some of you guys actually got the day off and everything. So how about that?
Yay!
All right. So we are here this week to talk about The Boys. So let's get a little bit of house cleaning out today. Make sure that you guys are going to nerdcyclopedia.com, hitting all your favorite platforms on social media. At Nerdcyclopedia, we are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere that you're on a social media platform. We are at Nerdcyclopedia. Make sure that when you are on Facebook and also on YouTube, you're hitting that subscribe button, hitting that follow button, and also hitting that notification button. So anytime that we're on, you know that we're on. Listen to our podcast right on your phone, right on your radios, anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast. We are on Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, TuneIn, anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast. We are there. And most of all, leave us some feedback. Nerds at Nerdcyclopedia. And before my co-host, gets on me here, we got another show, the Carbonite Bounty BS, CBBS. We are on there every Wednesday talking about your favorite Star Wars content. This week will be the season finale of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I know you guys are hyped about that. If you're a nerd, I know that you definitely are. So make sure that you're catching us Wednesday nights, 10 o'clock. We're talking about, all your favorite Star Wars content. Like I said, we're talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi later this week. So today we are going to talk about episode 5 of The Boys. All right. So what are we thinking about, this particular episode here? I thought it was pretty I mean, anything that you get with The Boys, it's just like, just some good stuff, with all the content that, superhero content that we have that's like regular, pretty much plays it safe and everything. When The Boys stuff comes out, you're going to get some good adult stuff. You're going to get some good Homelander content. You're going to get the deep, firing everybody, once he's made a boss, he fires everybody just for talking about Homelander and stuff. So, Deducci, what are you thinking about? What do you think about The Boys this week?
Well, okay, so the only thing that I have ever just going to say negative about this show is my favorite character finally made an appearance this episode, Black Noir. I mean, I love him. And so, I mean, he made his quick 2-second appearance, but it was well worth it finally.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess a lot of tension broken up between some characters, and a lot of when is it going to happen type of moments, and I mean, it was just as every episode goes. I mean, it keeps me entertained, keeps me going. And I told Hitch right before we started, I wish they had a 52 episode season so I could have every week have an episode where like we just looked it up. There's only 8 episodes. I mean, we're more than halfway through this season, and it's just like I want more already. So it's like again, you watch it, we watch it over the weekend, and I already am waiting for Friday's episode, and I just can't wait. And so, I mean, it's just more progressing to the story, of basically what's going to happen. Now you can also start to see, Soldier Boy and his true powers, and how strong he really is, and why they really need him to destroy Homelander. So, I mean, it's characters going in different directions, and not acting as they should. You have Huey trying to be the hero and naked and and Butcher doing whatever it takes, right? So
Yeah.
and sometimes he has to go that extra mile with some of
He
his
has to go.
female
Sometimes
friends,
he has to go that extra mile. All right,
So
Long
I mean,
mile.
it's you feel bad for some of these characters like Maeve, I mean, just the darkness that they have inside, and and then just like, and then you just see Soldier Boy, and you finally get to see how strong and fearful he really is. So
Yeah.
it's good, and you get to, and every time you get a cameo by Seth Rogen, that's always fun
Oh
too.
man, the good Seth Rogen cameo. I mean, that's always a plight to see and everything.
Oh,
What are we thinking?
absolutely.
What are we thinking about here? Still City.
This is an episode of breakups. Everybody's breaking up, and we see a lot of good reasons why people would break up. and Butcher are going to break up because Butcher broke the rules. We find Soldier Boy and Crimson Countess. That's a one-way ticket. There, that relationship is over for sure.
that
right?
one's
We're
not
done with
getting
them.
fixed.
No, that's an unfixable. You can't take back some things you do and say. It's just one of those things. So we see that Huey and Starlight are breaking up. Everybody's fracturing. The whole like reality is fracturing around these guys. Homelander's facade is fractured. He has this emasculated moment where he doesn't know the answer to his question. And it's just so bizarre to see him this out of his element, we've talked before. I have talked before. I've talked about this. This reminds me of a political allegory, and Homelander here is acting like a certain Russian dictator from the early 20th century named Joseph Stalin, who would install. Joseph Stalin's thing was he controlled who got what jobs. That's how he got loyalty, and he would just put the loyal people in the powerful jobs that would do whatever he said. So the more you would do whatever he said, the more power you would get. So guess what system that's selected for? That's what Homelander's getting. And as we've also talked about, the example of the German army in World War II versus World War I. When you select for loyalty, you don't select for good at this job-edness. It's not, that gets deselected. Yeah. So Homelander's cruising for a bruising, and it seems to me Soldier Boy is sort of like the answer to what to do with Soups. Because I mean, we have somebody losing their powers. We have somebody, dead. So Soldier Boy seems to be some sort of specific anti-Soup weapon. It's
gun.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm really excited to see where all these storylines go. And that doesn't even hit on what I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave the other thing that happened this episode for DP here. But I really thought this episode progressed the story between the characters a lot. All the relationships move forward a lot. And sometimes after an episode with a lot of action, which is something we talked about on our Star Wars show last week, there was a kind of a letdown episode. Mm-hmm. But all the character development took place here. So there's just a lot of meat to this, even though, there's not anything as graphic as the dildo fight.
Dildo getting
not as graphic as
nothing like that's happening. I mean, there's an immolation, but there's not anything crazy. Like nobody gets just exploded into a bunch of meat.
Right, so, let's push the limit death type of thing. Like,
right. The stuff. Can we get away?
There
with
had more depth to this episode, because they're building. They have to build it because the last 3 episodes are going to come at you so fast.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, you had like the top heavy stuff come from like the first 3 episodes, and then you get the 4th with the crazy stuff. This is sort of slowing things down. We're getting the characters coming at their midway point because we are like, the Ducci said, we're in the middle of the season. So we're slowing down a little bit, but we're getting a lot of good character development, like a lot of breakups, like, Hitch was saying. We even get like, the breaking up of Frenchie getting kidnapped at the end, from taken away from Kamiko. We got like a really good element with them two, from this show and everything. We hear Kamiko speak. She's on the opposite end of the Soups having powers and stuff. While Frenchie was thinking, okay, this is a disappointment, you don't have your powers and stuff. Kamiko's like, I'm feeling like a real life human being now. I'm happy. And then we break into like one of the better parts of the show. We get a good solid dance routine. I'm always a sucker for a good dance routine in the middle of a show that you don't even expect it. I don't know.
That was one of the shows that I loved. What the shows on FX.
Yeah, yeah,
Charles X's son,
yeah.
Legion, wasn't it called?
Oh yeah, the Legion. Yeah. When they
I
just
always
did
loved when they
all
used to do
craziness.
dance.
I mean that show just did some. So if they came out with stuff like that on that show, it was just like, okay, this is unexpected but expected for that type of show. I don't know if you guys ever seen you ever watched the cartoon the Batman Brave and the Bold?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So Spider-Man, oh man, okay.
We don't need to see Toby Maguire.
Not that kind of, not that type of dancing. No. We don't need any of that. But the Brave and the Bold, the Batman Brave and the Bold had a couple really good musical episodes. One of the better ones was an all musical, which I did not expect. It came from out of nowhere. The whole show was like a musical and everything. I forgot what the episode was called, but the whole thing was done in like, just a musical tone. And you got to really love it when a show hits its mark, when it really wants to go that route and you don't really expect it, but they actually, did the musical notes, to the point where it was actually believable in the context of the show. Kamiko's having like, this fantasy and everything, and everybody breaks out in the song and dance and stuff, and they go into their different moves and everything, and we see Frenchie dancing and stuff, but we get to really see Kamiko just be out of her element, just be somebody different than what we've been seeing for like these past few seasons and stuff. That was a super thing to see. Butcher and Maeve, that was people just making bad decisions on this show is just a prerequisite. I mean, that's just a thing, So those two, you didn't expect it, but it was actually just coming and everything. So Butcher, he wants all suits done and saying that, every suit, it doesn't matter who or what. Right in Maeve's face, you guys need to be gone. And Maeve, on the other hand, she's feeling some type of way about herself. So of course she's feeling this emotion like, she wants Homelander gone, but she's feeling bad about herself. So of course she's taking this from Butcher, and you would think, okay, well, he's talking about me, I'm the suit and everything. So, he's talking about me. I should feel some type of way. But no, she turns the table, and here these two start going at it, So we just get that dynamic. So that was like, amusing to see with them two. Soldier Boy. We're trying to find out which way he falls on the spectrum of where this gun that he is going to be pointed to. It's going to be pointed to the, direction of the boys, going to be pointed to the direction of Homelander. We don't know yet. He's
right. Such a wild card.
Yeah.
We don't know. Where's he going to go?
Where is he going to go? He has like, his elements of trying to figure out, okay, well, Butcher, you're going against everything that we stand for and everything. But he comes back around when he finds out, okay, I can't do this without my boys, even though y'all have these superpowers and stuff, which I'm totally against. We still need to find, we still need to do this thing in order to get the things that we need to get accomplished. We get a great A-Train scene, in like the whole community center.
Oh boy,
that just had me just like dying and everything. Soup lives matter. Soup lives matter. Hey, only a show like The Boys could do something like this. It was just super. It was cringeworthy and crazy and funny at the same time. So I was really, if are they presenting like a redemption arc for A-Train, it's like kind of like, okay, this is like a sellout in a type of way, because of, how much of, knob sucking he does to Homelander and everything. But now we're seeing, okay, A-Train is on a thing where he's trying to find himself, within, the element of the community and everything. He wants to, get the Blue Hawk down. And I mean, it's a lot of really good. This was a really solid episode for what it was. And I can't really wait to see, how everything is turning out, mid-season point, What do we think? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, because like in the mid-season, like during episodes like 4, 5, 6, they usually start to drag down a little bit because it's just mostly just filler episodes at that point in time. At least that's where most seasons, most things go with, those mid-seasons. So it's good to have a show that can still draw you in and not like make you go, okay, if I miss this episode, I don't miss anything. But so it keeps you drawn in. So episode 5, now we're all hyped for episode 6. I mean, it's just how they continue to do this, and it's not just like, okay, well, that was just an hour waste of time, an hour filler, just blah blah blah. No, it's progressing the story, and you need to see this episode to see certain things. You need to see Soldier Boy. You need to see Huey and Starlight. Their dynamic. So it's just like certain things you can't miss, and it's just so great
Right.
that they keep you entertained and sucked in, and so
Engaged.
valued of this show. Yes, engaged
Yeah.
of this show. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
We've been talking about this show for a while, and we've been watching it for a long time. It's been part of like the milieu for so long that the idea that these guys would kidnap and hold this superhero for the purposes of to kill her, to use her as bait to die so that they could seduce Soldier Boy into joining their cause is out of this world bananas that it's on TV. It's incredible that just that's on TV.
Right.
In my opinion, what we're getting here is something that isn't possible, maybe in the era of broadcast anything. It's not possible. Feedback can't be thing. It just has to be a piece that's going to be made for what it is. And man, even this episode had a bunch of crazy stuff. Like we were saying, it had a full on super powered sex scene. And they are doing the great lean into the drugs thing, right? I think they're doing a really great job of portraying how drugs tear friends apart in the real world. I love it. I want to do it again. How could you? It's gross. No, it's not gross. It's it really hits close to home in a lot of ways. How
are we feeling about Soldier Boy integration into the present here?
He's having you haven't really seen it. It's not like his Captain America moment, where he jumps on a helicopter, or a heliporter and floats away.
Right.
So he hasn't really like seen, I guess, everything. So I guess we're not going to see all that, his adaptation into the real world type of thing.
Well, we get a few glimpses and everything. When he starts walking down the street, New York, and just seeing like changes from when he last, I guess was in the world. Him seeing like gay couples and everything, on the street, and just seeing like just some different stuff that you wouldn't. That okay, we know Captain America's history and how he was back in World War II, was in suspended animation in the present. And we really didn't take in consideration of how could this actually be, how would he actually really react to like, real life changes and everything. Good thing for us in like the MCU, Captain America wasn't an asshole. He wasn't like a born dick, you know what I'm saying? But here we see the other side of that with Soldier Boy, He was already an asshole.
Right.
They say that the serum amplifies whatever it is about you. So if you're just like, if you just are attention whore, and you just want people to, you do stuff because you want people to clap, that's what it'll end up doing to you. I mean, obviously this is a different universe, but you can see the parallels to how like Soldier Boy was, muscular American imperialism in sort of the post World War II era. And they set that down in the 80s, and we said, we're not going to do that anymore. And then instead of revamping that because it's unseemly, we did a whole new thing. And so now we have Homelander, and Homelander is very much like Soldier Boy, except instead of being themed on punching Nazis in the face, he's designed to convince people to give away their civil liberties in exchange for safety. Right, to give away their freedom in exchange for the promise, however shoddy, that you will be saved by Homelander himself. So, I think that the parallels are really excellent, and the fact that I think they're pretty evident. You know what I mean? They're there to see. We lost our will to expand in South America. The Russians put it on ice. They could only absorb it. They couldn't put it away forever. And now it's infected Russia. The expansionist imperialist, manifest destinies infected Russia, just like we're seeing in the news. And Seth Rogen had a jerk off cameo in this.
I mean, how great is that? I mean, it's like, hey, how can I get worked into this season?
To see Seth Rogen jerk off?
So funny. I mean, this was really that was really a great scene. And he really, he's an executive producer on this, and he loves the source material, and he's really been great to comics, and he's known as someone that this is obviously something he loves, right? It's one of his love projects. So great to see Seth in there.
Right, just throw him in for a cameo appearance, and hey, it's great, just have him jacking off,
And I go, well, look, you got to love like the writers' room on how they come up with these scenes and everything. And Seth just comes in and is like, what if I just jerk off, in front of, on a camera, and you guys just have me, right in front of, and I mean, come on now, I mean. Seth Rogen, I mean, you got to give it to him. I mean, he when he comes on screen, he turns it up a notch and stuff. I was watching what did I watch this weekend? I was at camp with my kids watching Chippendale Rescue Rangers, and he made an appearance on that movie. As some Viking type of thing with he was like a
It's like the old school animation that wasn't right.
It was
the
weird,
Uncanny Valley stuff from 20 years ago.
It was weird. It turned out to be an okay movie, for a kids movie. But I was like, wow, Seth Rogen he's just nuts, man. This guy is crazy,
Yeah, whatever he can appear in, and just act himself and clown, hey, he's not afraid to push the buttons and go the limits, for what he does. He's not ashamed to go out there naked and jack off in front of everybody, whatever it takes, right?
I mean, I'll do it if you really need me to. That's like his whole
and the thing is, it's not out of place. It fits, it goes right into the story, I mean,
and if you
told
she's
going to have an OnlyFans page, why not?
Why wouldn't you? I mean, and if you were trying to make money for your chimp reserve, you would definitely be putting out an OnlyFans, and she seems to be into some sort of dominatrix style,
instructor, heated anal beans, whatever it takes.
Who knows what's going to happen there? I'm not trying to listen. We don't want to judge consenting adults, but if you told me that in universe that was the real Seth Rogen, that was not supposed to be Seth Rogen playing some character, it was Seth Rogen doing
because they didn't say a character's name. They just said the kid's title on the bottom. Whatever,
I would believe that, and I think that was funny too.
So I believe that was Seth Rogen.
What a weird, and I like how they've done this a couple times where they sort of leaned into the sex, like what would it be like to bang a soup, or why would you want to, or whatever, in a way that reminds me a little bit of HBO's True Blood from the last decade, how they kind of leaned into that with the vampires. And this is again this mixture of low and highbrow in one place that The Boys pulls off is really awesome, and I like it.
Yeah, you got so like I said, we come from what's been dominating pop culture with the MCU stuff, and we're liking like a lot of stuff that we see our superheroes more or less acting like safe Disney type of territory, where we're getting a lot of tame product and stuff. But when we come to The Boys, we're watching as adults. And we're seeing, okay, this is really what they would do behind closed doors, or if superheroes making bad decisions, Soup's making bad decisions. And I think that was a really good thing for this episode, characters just making bad decisions, left and right and everything, with Maeve and, Butcher, just coming to a point where, they're in a compromise point, and they're getting drunk with each other. And Maeve is just, feeling this type of way. And then, she makes a bad decision, sleeping with Butcher, and Butcher makes his, bad decision sleeping with a Soup. He's not really too different from Homelander anyway, right? He's he has his ego, he has his sense of, wanting to be, this, in a certain type of way. But he's just the flip side of that coin of the same coin that Homelander is on. Except he's one of our protagonist good guys, if you want to call it quote unquote that. But
and I thought, and I again like that it's analogous and it makes sense. Again, how they're arguing from the politics of Homelander represents, the perfect right wing, give everything to the emperor, right? Like how the Roman Empire was ideology. And Butcher represents the left, Marxist. Nobody should have anything more than anybody else ideology. And you say that the power here is money. You know what I mean? You can see how everything kind of fits together. And they say there's a theory called Horseshoe Theory, which is if you go to either extreme left and right, then eventually they start being very similar, in which you're just suddenly very paranoid and you're, putting your friends in positions of power because they're loyal to you and for no other reason, and the quality of the government starts degrading. And
yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's just like you got the two extremes on one side, and at one point in time, as we've seen in like the earlier episodes, when Homelander came to Butcher, it's like the two sides are meeting in the middle. It's just like, okay, it's like I had to find appreciation for you because you're like me. It's like you're so esteem on your values that you're the exact opposite of me. As above is below. Type of thing. It's the exact way to go, and eventually, they have to meet in the middle.
It's like those classic Joker and Batman, storylines where Joker, they end up having like a conversation where you're just like me, you're just, you dress in this costume, dress as a bat, you're just as crazy as me. I dress in a clown, I have this, well, he doesn't really say he's a clown, suit, because Joker, to my knowledge, has never really explicitly say that he's a clown, but he acts just as crazy. You're just as crazy as me. You go off the walls and saying, trying to save this city for what? By yourself. Everything just keeps on happening over and over again. All these villains didn't pop up until you came along, so you're just as insane as me. So you got two sides of the same coin. Meeting like Ducci was saying like a few episodes back, I think the very first episode, where they understand each other, but they know they have to be enemies. They know they're going to eventually, come to that point. And I think what is that like Chekhov's meeting of the minds in the beginning. So we're going
they can't both exist. It's like, there can't be a communist party and a Nazi party both in control. It's just not, those guys don't get along. It's just not gonna happen. But there is an interesting posit here, which is, this with Homelander and Butcher and Soldier Boy all coming into conflict. There's an age-old question that illustrates Horseshoe Theory that I always like to ask is, would you rather get strung up in the middle of a Marxist revolution or strung up in the middle of an anti-communist reaction? The answer is it doesn't really matter because you got strung up either way. You know what I mean? So, at a certain point, there's an interesting quandary here where, Homelander is, for all intents and purposes, the devil we know. We know, what he's looking for, which is money, power, and aggrandizement. That's it, self-aggrandizement. Self-aggrandizement is not a hard thing to give people. It's easy to do. Mount Rushmore exists, so there's crazy stuff that's possible, but we don't really know. We don't know what Soldier Boy wants, and we know Soldier Boy used to be satisfied with the adoration of the people. He used to go on Soul Train or whatever, whatever that is. Solid gold. So, obviously there's some sort of celebrity worship that he's into, but what has happened to him over the time in Russia? Is he Winter Soldierized? Is that what that whole thing was all about? Right. There's more depth to that because obviously it's not going to be that simple.
So not at all.
Right. So what are these heads are going to meet? Like what is going to happen? And that's what it's building up to this, climax of how's Homelander's reaction going to be? How's Soldier Boy's reaction going to be to all this? Are they going to end up teaming up? Are they going to end up fighting? Like what what side does Soldier Boy end up going towards at the end of all this?
Yeah, I guess which gun is the side of the who's going to possess the gun there? You know, who's going to be in hold of that particular power? And I don't think Soldier Boy is in like in total control. You know, when he blows up that building, so he's still trying to understand where he's at, what he's about. So like we really don't understand a lot of we get a lot of Soldier Boy in this episode, but we don't get a lot of insight into his character and where he's at. Just for the little stuff that he did on the sidewalk and everything, we see how he's reacting, but we're not getting any type of, okay, this is where I am now. This is how I'm going to go about things. We see at the end of the episode there that, he's going off in the woods with Butcher and stuff, and they made some sort of type of deal, but who knows how that's going to, just work out with Soldier Boy. His first and foremost thing was to take out, his old flame, which he put up in flames, So that was pretty crazy. And what about Huey and Starlight there? He's feeling super emasculated. Pretty much he's doing a lot of stuff for himself. He keeps trying to say that, I'm trying to do it all for you, Starlight. I want to be the one to save you. I want to be the one to save you. I want to, she's like, I don't need you to do that. I just want you to be you. I mean, every nerd likes to hear that. I just want you to be you. Every
Right.
nerd in their mind is like, I want to be the savior and everything. So Huey represents us so well.
Right.
But being me so easy, I don't have to do
all this
anything.
power. Now he has all this power and he's high on his drug.
Oh, yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
he's like, hey, I can finally open the pickle jar.
I don't need you on this drug. You being on this drug will in no way bring us together because I do not care about what it does for you. It offers me no benefits whatsoever. I do not want that. And he's just like, I'm gonna shoot up. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna cause him to come to a crisis point. Again, we're at this point where the collisions are on tap. Like there's nothing more that can prevent it. They're not hiding it. And when I say sometimes that the clip at which a show moves through material is one of the ways in which I measure the quality of the writing. And what I mean is to reference, for instance, not to pick on anybody, True Blood from HBO.
Second mention.
They'd have stretched that crap out for 3 or 4 episodes and then revealed something you already knew at the end of the episode. And then there would have been a scream sound effect that would have gone black. And then they would have played some real deep bam, 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 bam. I can already hear I can see the episode from start to finish.
with the boys here. They're getting right to the point. I mean, it's the site is a good writing when you can cite every character's motivations, to a degree, and their characters, and you can like every character that's on there. You can say, okay, I like what they're doing here. I like what they're doing there. Not just one or two instances, or maybe even one to some of these shows where you're only following that one and you're struggling to follow the other characters. You sort of wonder why more writing isn't done better on other shows, but I guess that's just the talent of the people that produce the shows. Eric Kripke, he's doing a masterful job navigating the writers in that room for this material. And props to Garth Ennis for coming up with this whole world for them to play in and everything, because clearly the writers love playing in the world. I think Blue Hawk is a new character that wasn't in the books that I was reading. He wasn't in the books, so he's new to the universe. But hey, he's hilarious, man.
You mean wait a minute? So you're saying that Blue Hawk is an addition made to this in the years since, say, 2013, which is when I would guess the comic books were published. Is that fair?
They were published back in 2004.
Oh, hey, wow. I don't think anything's changed.
We're dealing with dated material here in the early aughts, man.
Not even Hurricane Katrina's in there.
No.
Nothing.
Yeah. This is post 9/11 stuff right here, man.
We've talked about that era being formative for us a lot, and we've talked about other media, and then we talked about how there is some sort of pervasive paranoia that was hard. It's hard to explain in retrospect, but it's important to understand because it's prevalent in all the art that was generated at that time. Yeah. And so Homelander being this fever dream of what would happen to the American security state apparatus if it became, if it began to exist for its own self-gratification and for no other reason, right? this interesting meditation. It makes sense given what was going on in 2004, which for my younger listeners was the year of, among other things, the invasion of Iraq by the United States. So definitely a piece of its time for sure, right? So yeah, we would want to update it with this fight between a community that's being policed and the person policing it, and it being coached in the terms of Black Lives Matter versus Soup Lives Matter in an allegorical sense. That's a science fiction and fan. They just do. It's just part of one of the reasons that you would write in science fiction is to do this.
I mean, and we talked about this on CBBS and everything with like the Star Wars prequels and stuff, how they maybe were ahead of their times with the political references and like the stuff, when we were watching it back in the early aughts and stuff. I mean, it's like, why are you talking about all this politics and but now this seems more prescient than anything. It's like, oh man, George Lucas, you were ahead of your time as far as that. With this, what we're seeing here is maybe a lot of reaction to those periods. So Titch, I definitely see a lot of the parallels and a lot of the comments from the material written back then that's still being relevant and prevalent right now and everything. So that's a good good pickup right there.
Well, history always repeats itself. So I mean, we're just one big loop of everything going through. I mean, so what could be relevant then is still relevant now. I mean, it's just still just the extremists of two sides.
That's a very good point. And one thing, here's an interesting point. Why wouldn't Soldier Boy agree with Homelander?
Right. So it's but it's because, I mean, what side again is he on? Is he on the full side of maybe I need to take this person out so I can be the only one? At a point in time, like you said, there can only be one Stalin. So he has to take him out.
He was quite clear. He was quite clear about that. That was if there was any like I said, he got his job. He got his power from controlling the org chart. There was only one seat at the top, and he was always very clear about whose name was penciled in all the way up at the top.
There was never a question. There was never a question.
T. Well, it's this interesting. My thought here is, if you're the American muscular response to the foreign policy crisis of your time, and you're Soldier Boy, and you're the symbol of the post World War II paradigm, it makes you think like, what would you think if you had this lionized version, right, of Soldier Boy in your head that was like Captain America, and he had these, and and you were presented with these awful prejudices of his, right?
Right.
It would change them in your estimation. Right. And I think we've, it's talking about the being a piece of art being a product of its time. This is a piece of art that's produced when the standard box reflex to homosexuality is, in my opinion, in society acceptance. And that is something else that I think has changed in the intervening time since this was published in 2004. I think in 2004, it would be stridently presented as you should be accepting of this, but it would not be presented from the viewpoint of the default reaction is to be accepting.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Well, some of the source material, they have to make it up to the modernization of everything. So, I mean, I could see the direct source material changing, but the storylines still remain the same.
Yeah.
And you could see that also with commercials and everything, advertising stuff. When you see changes in advertisements, yes, A-Train,
A-Train storyline.
When you see the change in advertisements over time and everything, how it's different 10 years ago than it is today and everything. You're seeing how money follows the culture. When the acceptance does happen, money follows. Okay, well, this is socially accepted now, so maybe we can make some money off this.
Right.
So maybe we can.
But that's all the thought, right? Because it's so hollow, because they have this idea that they want to project, that my screen's full of black instas and I want to, we want to fund your whatever. But at the same time, Vought is putting that guy there. He's saying those things. He's doing those things, and he works for Vought. That's who he works for.
For the company that's called Propaganda. Is that what it's called?
I think that is called. It's at least advertising fluffery, if not propaganda.
Something to that effect and everything, you know.
Well, so I want to circle back to what something Sam said earlier about how the writers just have this like basically free will, free freelance to do everything they want to do, and you mentioned about how like Marvel's like the cookie cutter of everything, and DC is just spinning tires in mud. They don't know what they're doing, but at least we have like I guess this is kind of comparable if you want to say to a Marvel is like a Deadpool where the writers have their R rating where they can go and make crazy deaths and crazy storylines and and so it's like you have this storyline which they can do whatever they want to do and their ratings say do whatever you want to do because you are our only show that's worth a damn. So so please do what you need to do to keep the show going.
Hey, they're hooked up with BritBox, and Midsummer Murders is pretty good. There's some good stuff.
When Jeff Bezos says that Prime is like his second or third tier business or whatever venture or whatever, then he's not. Hey, I'll throw a little money here. You guys do what you want. We still got Prime 2-day shipping.
Yeah. The Expanse is good.
We have drones. We're good.
We were bought before Vought, man. So
yeah.
Just imagine if I'm so glad this product doesn't exist in the real world, right? But the ability to use force is usually something that the state holds pretty dear. So, this is also a commentary on the outsourcing of the state's authority to force. It's probably a bad idea to privatize that, and for the most part, as we see explored here in The Boys. Don't want to do that stuff.
Yeah, it's really interesting concepts, during this episode. Our for the most part, we have 5 episodes. We're 5 episodes in so far. As compared to what we've been seeing with a lot of these we've been getting a lot of streaming shows for the past year and everything. How are we 5 episodes in feeling about The Boys right about now?
I want to compare it to The Boys is like the good version of the bad version
of True Blood.
Of True Blood, where they're all vampires and drinking each other. So The Boys is the good version of True Blood. True Blood's the bad version of True Blood. The medium version of True Blood would probably be the Vampire Diaries.
Oh man,
no, I'm not going to say that. But I'm going to say Book of Boba Fett. There's a show that has established characters, that has Wookiees, that has everything you need from it has Luke Skywalker in it for God's sake.
It has the Mandalorian featuring Boba Fett.
The best part was the Mandalorian, which is an indictment of the pace of the writing, which is again, if you contrast it to what's going on here in The Boys, already this season, a real life Nazi who was brought to the United States on their version of Operation Paperclip chewed off her own tongue so that she would drown on her blood. And you forgot that happened until I just mentioned it.
I sure did. Wow, man, that's crazy. Yeah,
that's crazy. So they're not worried about burn and runway, because the reason you won't burn runway is because you're worried, in my opinion. This is psychological and speculative, but you don't do it because you're worried about not being able to come up with enough good ideas to fill in the time. And The Boys couldn't give 2 shits about that, which makes it even more amplified on the anything can happen scale, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, this also goes back to like how Sam was saying how they develop each character. So 5 episodes in, they take so much time per episode to make sure you appreciate each one of these characters. So as 5 episodes go, you can grab and hold of these characters that you dearly love, and their story just doesn't stop and will continue in episode 6. Like, it continuously flows. So you see this development of Frenchie and Mother's Milk, and all these sub characters. Because the whole episode's not about Homelander. Homelander is only in it for maybe 10 minutes, maybe at the most.
Every character has arc. Frenchie is
Yeah.
trying to deal with his Russian with that situation and everything. His relationship with Kamiko is trying to be like is feeling good about her not having powers anymore. Billy is going through his things with taking Temp V. Maeve's going through her stuff with feeling a certain type of way about getting at Homelander. Homelander is being Homelander, so we know that where that's going.
Right. Yeah. You have everybody. Everybody has a storyline. Even the Deep
everybody has a
storyline.
storyline. Yes. Yes. A Train. We see.
Right.
I'm so glad they gave A Train something to do.
Just give him something to do.
Gave him something to do and everything, and actually something kind of meaningful. So it'd be really interesting to see how they turn that around for him. Is his arc thing of redemption? Because we're feeling a certain type of way after that community incident where his brother got put into a hospital and stuff. So is that going to change him as a person? Is he going to actually wake up and see, well, I got all this stuff going on, but real life people are going through some things, and me bringing this person into the community, community meeting and everything was actually a direct cause of something actually lethal happening, which was his brother. So is this going to change him? Is he going to stop being a dick? And then of course the Deep. The Deep is our residence comedy comedy relief.
Yeah.
All right.
Butcher. Homelander puts him in charge, and then he has his girlfriend, controlling, everything that he says and does and stuff. Him bringing cupcakes to the that was classic, man.
It's just like other jobs, bringing balloons and cake, make them smile, balloons and cake.
Yeah. We're gonna sit down with a meeting with all you guys. And if you ever said anything bad about Homelander, you're done.
Let's not, not to pick on any specific workplace that any of us might be familiar with, but everybody knows there's been a, somebody who's a new boss that maybe knows that they've been rough with some people and wants to try to smooth it over, but doesn't really actually want to smooth it over in any way whatsoever. And so, you get the weird passive aggressive vibe. And it's like, eat this cupcake, and it's almost passing down.
You're accepting.
Yeah. If you
Yeah.
take this cupcake,
you're accepting of me.
You will have it inside of you.
Right, but it's also good. So like all these sub stories don't take away from the main story, and it continues and it flows. So that's why 5 episodes. We're not just like, okay, like that episode. Blah. Because you have so many series and seasons that, like, Boba Fett, like, as Stitch said, like, that one was so bad that they had to get the Mandalorian in for 3 episodes just so it could fill a Boba Fett story because they wrote it so bad.
Yeah,
do you want to see Boba Fett be a sheriff? No.
No.
Okay, look, it's one episode. It's one episode. You want to see him be a sheriff again? No. Okay, well, look, it's only 2 of them. What if he's a sheriff this time? No,
we can't do it. 3 episodes of Boba Fett that
4 episodes as a sheriff.
How about the Mandalorian?
Change of pace. You're happy to see this little guy.
Love this guy on his show. Now, how about we bring him over here?
Right, I'm waiting to show up for Obi-Wan. Where's the Mandalorian and Obi-Wan? Jeez.
Oh, man.
It's like the Simpsons spin-off showcase. And their friends, the Mandalorian and Grogu, might just stop by. You'll have to tune in to find out this week.
Same nerd time, same nerd channel.
And this solves that problem, right? So this show solves that problem. They have also solved the Justice League problem that I've pointed out before, which is what do you do if it doesn't really matter what happens until Superman shows up? So nothing really matters if Homelander could just kill everybody, and then none of these conflicts matter a damn, and unless something happens to Homelander. So this show has solved the problem like they have with Superman in the Justice League movie or in any of the Justice League cartoons, where it's sort of repetitive. It's like, oh, Superman's been incapacitated. We'll have to recapacitate him. Oh, he's fine, and we win. It's Superman is out of town visiting his wife's family for some reason, and he can't get back. Oh, he's back. We win. That's fine for a kid's cartoon, which Justice League was. So that's cool. But for something like this, you need something more complex, and they've solved that problem. And I don't know, like we said, if the car crash DC universe has. So Amazon has one over on Warner Brothers here, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good metaphor.
Amazon can get it right.
They
can get it right.
They're getting it right so far. And the car crash metaphor was a great thing, because just like a car crash, you just look at it, but you just can't look away, for whatever.
You're rubbernecking the whole time.
You're like,
did the Flash just do that?
It's there, you see it.
But then you got to turn around. Okay, hold on, I got to see that again.
Yeah. I got to eventually go past and everything. So that's our friendly neighborhood DC, compatriots and the distinguished competition,
Right, when everything's
compared. They just can't get it right. But if they keep trying, they'll eventually get it right one day,
I mean, how many Batman movies could they make at least?
How many? Okay, so they've gotten. Here's the ones they've gotten. Those ones they've gotten right. So regular Batman 1 from 1989, check.
Batman 2.
Batman 2 from 1991, check. That was probably even better, right? Batman 3.
No.
Batman 4. No. Okay. Batman Begins.
Yes.
Thumbs up. All right. So track record's better. Dark Knight, probably the best
Batman movie ever.
Probably, if you wanted to say what's a Batman story and you showed somebody that movie, that would be the way to do it, right? I feel like that's the way they understand almost everything about it. Yeah. So and then okay, Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah,
it's better than Superman.
And then you guys did a whole show on the new Batman, so we don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't know what you thought of it. And I haven't seen it yet because I'm a loser. Been avoiding it just for fun. No, it's just for fun. So they've avoided that problem here. And it's good that they've been able to get
DC doesn't have
that.
a Batman problem.
No, they definitely don't have
a Batman problem.
All right, so DC does not have a Batman problem.
It's like okay. It's like I feel like they're gonna it's like Sony, like they'll lose the rights to Batman if they don't make a new Batman movie every 5 years.
And they own the character,
right? They own the character. We gotta throw out another movie. We're gonna lose his rights.
Oh man.
Put another 5 years on it. Just renew it. Just do it.
Renew it.
Doesn't have to be great.
Story.
Doesn't have to be good. Get the kid from Twilight. No, not that kid. No, not that kid. No, not that kid. That one.
The gloomy looking guy.
Yeah.
It'll be a great Bruce Wayne. And the rest.
Speaking of which, we do need a lot more black noir and everything. The Batman archetype for this show. We really haven't gotten too much of him, but just him, scribbling on things, drawing cartoons for the season. I mean, are we going to be set to see him do something great and big, before the season's done? Who
does he know? Who does he know? Soldier Boy.
Oh, he might have to play. Yeah, he's on Homelander's side right now, but he's boys with Soldier Boy.
Yeah. Yep. Can't wait.
Lots going on the show.
Right.
Really emblematic of great writing, as we talked about. Great performances all the way around. Everybody's doing an excellent job.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. They got me tuned in every week. Yeah.
They're not breaking the fourth wall the way they shouldn't be.
No, please don't break the fourth wall. Keep inside that wall. More. The thing I'm looking forward to next week is more Soldier Boy. I want to see more inside the head of Soldier Boy. See how he's interacting with our heroes, or if he ends up interacting with parts of the Seven and everything. How he just integrates himself into this universe. He's seeing the buses go by with superheroes and stuff. So it's a whole different thing. With him in this new, in this new century and everything, or in this new era, you
All
know,
right.
with him. So
And also too, like what is Homelander's reaction going to be to Soldier Boy as
yes,
well too? Because Homelander's been
jealousy.
this alpha male, this the alpha for so long.
Yeah,
No one can beat me. I can kill millions in seconds. No, who's going to stop me? Now you have Soldier Boy. So
yeah.
like, how's Homelander going to react? Is he going to go ballistic and nuts? And
Well, I don't think he really even understands what Soldier Boy is at this point. So, because we didn't really get any type of reaction to him in the news footage of what Soldier Boy did. I think he watched it and then reacted to something else, during the episode. I forget what, but we didn't really get, and that's actually a really great writing play. You see these two things, these two heads, they're going to interact at some point. So they're really doing a great job building up that point. So good job, good writing, good cast of actors, going through their, motions and everything, making us care about like, the different, plots that's going on, subplots, that's going on during the episode. Just great thing all around. Any expectations on like, this next episode? Anything that, you guys want to see?
I just want to be entertained. I'm just along for the ride. Right. I don't want to set any expectations because I don't either want, because I just want to be entertained.
Right.
Because I know going into this show, I'm entertained and I'm on the edge of my seat, like what's going to happen next.
We're not expecting Mephisto to show up and everything, so we're not on the edge of our piece as far as that. Okay,
That's such an excellent point, because if they have a Batman analog and they kill somebody, who gives a shit? But if Batman kills somebody, it enrages me. I don't like that. So they're taking advantage also of the position they have as the Kirkland brand superheroes that they're getting to use. Yeah. So it's just masterfully done right now. It's really one of the best shows on TV.
Yeah, I mean, as you can go 5 episodes deep and still be this enthused in the episodes.
Yeah,
like it doesn't draw you out. It leaves you wanting more. Like when's the next week? When's the next week? So it's perfectly timed. They do the interacting of each character. They go 5 minutes of this character, 5 minutes of this character. And they keep the story going along. So
yep. Super great presentation. I love the way that Amazon drops the episodes Thursday nights. You don't know what time they're going to drop it, but they're going to drop it on Thursday night. Maybe they'll drop it at 11. Maybe they'll drop it at 9 p.m. and everything. But it ends up dropping late. So you get a chance to see it before you even watch it the very next day and everything. So yes, really great way to end this episode. But make sure that you guys are going to your local library. Make sure that you guys are supporting your local
libraries. Yeah.
Sign up if you got a library card. Sign up for a great app called Hoopla. They did not pay us for this promotion, but I'm promoting it anyway.
You want more boys? It's on there. It's free.
It is on there. The entire series and a lot more. You got a library card. Sign up for Hoopla. You get a lot of free books and everything. A lot of good content to read on your smartphone, iPad, computer, and everything. But make sure that you guys are checking us out. We'll be, as we said in the top of the show, we'll be here again Wednesday to talk about the season finale of Obi-Wan. Can't wait for that. We'll be here next Monday, 10 p.m. to talk about The Boys again, episode 6. We're on episode 6 already. Crazy stuff.
That's
so
fast.
We'll be on to talk about that. And then, we'll continue on with this nerd psycho comic flick show and everything. And just keep us talking about your favorite nerd content. So make sure that you're subscribing to this channel, sharing the stuff, sharing with all your friends, letting them know that it feels good to come here, to get your nerd stuff, your nerdum stuff, So definitely,
appreciation.
We appreciate you. So I'm signing off from my man, the Michael Ducci, Steel City Hitch, to our boys, Ken, the Gen Admiral Tarkin, and also T Mitch from our Carbonite Bonnie BS show. And I am the DP Brown, writer and creator of The Theme of Thieves.
Yeah.
We shall see you guys. Peace out next week. Same nerd time, same nerd channel.
Hey, you said it.